What is up, everybody? Dustin here with Dustin's Customs, and today we are interviewing Patrick with Horseplay Motoring. I'm going to start this off with a question. Patrick, what was the first car that you started to tinker with?
95 Eagle Talon TSI all-wheel drive. Probably my favorite car to date that I've owned. I ran 11.9 at Gainesville Raceway. I launched it so hard I tore the rearview mirror off the windshield.
Really?
Yeah, I love that car. I regret selling it. I hit a deer and got discouraged and sold it.
Oh my God, those are so expensive now. Like, they're crazy expensive.
And to think about, you know, I had a Fox body, I've had a BMW M3, all these cars that I've sunk money into. If I'd have kept that Talon and put all that money in there.
Yeah, those things are a beast on the road. There's not many of them anymore. Like, you see some, like on 1320, there's a couple. And
yeah, I had a Slow Boy Racing big T28, tubular manifold, HKS cams.
Oh my God.
Just, I loved it.
Those things are pretty sick when they got a little idle to them.
Yep.
All right. If you had your choice of any car, what would it be?
You know, originally I was going to say a Terminator, but you know, you're still looking at a supercharged car. It's 390 horsepower. Yeah, they're legendary, but I think I would go with a Gen 3 S550 10-speed auto.
Yeah, they really seem like they're the way to go now.
Yeah, you know, that's where the money would be at. And especially people are, you know, they're making 1,000 horsepower on stock bottom end, just changing out the oil pump gears. You know, I mean,
I think they have a forged crank from the factory too.
Yeah.
Which right there, that's $1,500 if not more.
Yeah.
If you wanted to build it, you don't really need to build them anymore.
Right.
What modifications have you done to your Mustang so far?
It's full bolt-on right now. It's got a BBK equal length headers. It's got a Pacifica, which is a Mack brand off-road X-pipe. It's got eBay resonators, which are kind of similar to SLP, and it's dumped before the rear axle. It's got a BBK cold air intake. It's got a PI lower intake, 75 millimeter upper throttle body, upper intake and throttle body. Pretty much anything you can think of bolt-on wise. I have a nitrous kit in the closet at the house I'm waiting to put on. It's got 373 rear gears.
That's one thing I want to get is some gears. I don't know for gears for turbos though. I think the lower gear is better for turbo. You
know, the guy that my original, like rear end, most cars have like a 327. Mine for some reason came with a 308.
Really?
And a guy bought it to put in a turbo Ranger.
Huh. For some reason I was thinking I had 331s. I'm wrong. I have no idea what's actually in there. I have no, whatever the factory.
Most of the boost guys seem to go with a 355 or lower though.
Yeah, I think it loads the turbo or something.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah. Jonathan Harder, his car has 410s with a Pro Charger.
How's that thing cool?
It hits so hard. Like
on the videos, I'm like, that thing looks like it screams.
It hits hard, especially with the 410 gears. I mean, I think that's why it feels so violent. Because it's, I use only loosely, but it's only like 600 something horsepower.
Light car though, it's very light, isn't it?
And the way it hits, it feels like an 800 horsepower car. And I really think it's because of the 410 gears, because most of the higher horsepower cars I've been in, it has the lower gears.
It probably helps with the Pro Charger because it winds up quicker with the higher gears. So I bet it does feel fucking violent.
Yeah.
If you had a preference of power adder, what would it be?
Definitely a turbo. I think Andrew's Bullet speaks volumes in that of how long the engine can go. I mean, he abused the hell out of that Bullet. And turbo is just easier on the internals. It's easier to deal with. Ease of install, supercharger or nitrous is going to be easier, but I just think in the long run, turbo is better.
Yeah. It doesn't, like, I know a lot of guys, they're like talking to me, they're like, you have to get an upgraded crank because of the snout pressure pulling on the crank with the supercharger like that. It seems like a lot of the S550s are snapping cranks, and it's just such a hard hit that the download torque is really what destroys motors, it seems like. Yeah,
I got a friend, Pietro, PM Performance. I don't know if you follow him. His GT500 just broke his snout, and it's cost a lot of money.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine what one of those cranks go for.
Yeah, so he's doing a build right now that he surely didn't anticipate, and it was already a built GT500, so for something like that to mess up everything.
Does that mess up anything in the engine when the snout breaks off? Like, does it throw timing or anything?
Yeah,
like
his actually it threw the chain up, it busted the valve cover and all kind of stuff. It messed up quite a bit. Yeah, he's got videos. Check out PM Performance.
PM Performance?
Yeah.
I'll check it out. You know, I'm just recently, like, going through your channel, I'm finding all these other channels that I had no idea. Like, I search, I'll type in 99 04 Mustang or New Edge Mustang, and then I'll go to the little thing in the corner and go to most recent upload. And there's like 4 or 5 guys I see, but I've actually found a lot of people through your channel. With you mentioning them and stuff, I'm like, damn, there's a lot of good stuff out there.
Yeah. Yeah, Street Slayers is one of them. That dude is a wealth of knowledge, and it's just,
yeah,
he's going to have some good builds coming up.
All these guys, they know all the ins and outs of building these motors and stuff. I'm like, I wish I would have found this stuff a year ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy how good they are.
The one thing I love about Street Slayers is when the Cam video came out, he didn't agree with some of the information in there. So I challenged him. I said, listen, without proof, you're just arguing to be arguing.
Uh-huh.
He said, okay, that was the end of it. His next video, he covered it, and he didn't say, hey, this is the proof Horseplay wrong. This is nothing like that. He just covered what he had found.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what we come to the agreement on is when you mic a cam,
yeah,
you might get a 2.16 or 2.18. That's the difference between a 499 and a 507 lift. I mean, one little degree, people don't realize the way the math works is that's a big variable. So I think that's where people are getting confused that they're all the same because it's only a thousandths off or something like that, So
when you made that video, I was like, holy shit, I have truck cams, because the motor that's in my car now has, I think it's Triton engine, same thing.
Right.
I always assume because the first thing, when you type it in on the internet, the first thing you find is that they are all the same.
Right.
I think literally Wikipedia says that. And I was like, because I swear, I could have swore when I went from the old Windsor motor to the new Romo, I felt the difference. Like there was a difference.
Right.
And I was like, I wonder, I mean, I never really knew. I was like, sure, whatever the internet says, And a lot of people have a lot of things wrong, it seems like. But.
Right. Well, see, the thing is with that, I mean, even if you want to believe that they're all the same,
yeah,
it's not hurting anything by, I mean, a PI cam and an MPI head is still an upgrade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're not really hurting anything. And if you want to believe that the Mustang is the best cam, go out and pull a Mustang cam. It's not hurting anything either way. So I thought, putting the information out there, people can read it and gather what they want to. But yeah, I'm not telling them to go one way or the other. They can believe, they're all the same or they're all different. I just found the information, thought it was, good information.
It takes somebody with a micrometer to find out the truth.
Right.
So
if I had the money and time, I would probably do all kind of stupid stuff like that. I'd be taking everything apart, micing it, seeing, because like right now, I've got 3 or 4 different measurements on the follower ratio.
Yeah.
And finally, Modular Head Shop said it's 1.8, and Todd Warrenson it's 1.8. A lot of the things I find though say that the 96 to 98 cars had a 1.75.
Really?
So I have no way of measuring it, so I just have to kind of go with Todd Warren and Modular Head Shop. But
yeah, I mean, those guys have been in a motor a lot. That, like, what's that dude, Richard Rollins, that does all the LS stuff? He's been recently doing some Mustang stuff.
Yeah.
But if there was a Ford guy to do what he does, that would be a really good channel.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see him get into more stuff like that. But
yeah,
there's a lot of myths and things out there, and I've been watching the Modular Head Shop videos lately, and I mean, I'm learning a few things from that guy. The only bad thing is every time I ask him to build my engine, he says he's not building engines.
Yeah, he's currently not building engines, but I will say the one thing I love about Modular Head Shop, they are always slammed, they're always busy. When I write him, I have never not got an answer back. And I asked him some stupid questions. I'm sure he gets annoyed by it. He always answers me. He always writes me back, and that says a lot about customer service. So.
Yeah, I emailed him a couple weeks ago. I bought that Cobra crank, and it had spun a bearing. I got it for a good deal, and he's like, just buy a new crank. And I already have another crank that I bought 2 years ago, but I was really hoping to make another Ford build, but he's like, just buy a new crank. I'm like, can you please machine it? And he's like, no. I'm like, so I got a big paperweight. I did find a place in Jacksonville. So,
yeah.
Depends on the bearing size, what I can go to.
Yeah, a lot of the smaller things, like he just don't even mess with anymore. So that is kind of discouraging because he's kind of getting away from some of it. But I mean,
Yeah, I think he's getting more into the manufacturing. I think is what he's trying to go towards.
Yeah, and the newer stuff. I mean, 2 valves are outdated. And
yeah, nobody does the 2 valves anymore, or 3 valves. That was just out the window. Everybody just goes straight to Coyote from there. But
yeah,
I actually thought about doing a 3 valve, and I'm like, yeah, and that, like buying some 4 valve heads. There's some Lincoln Aviators at the junkyard up there.
yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if them heads are good in that thing. What do you think is the best sounding car from the factory?
The Lexus LFA. Their exhaust was tuned by Yamaha, and a lot of people don't know Yamaha actually is into musical instruments. They build all kind of musical instruments, so it was actually tuned by Yamaha for the best sound, and I have to agree. I think it's the best sounding car from the factory.
Those came out what, 3 or 4 years ago? They've been out a while.
Yeah, they've been out a while. That's what he drove at the end of one of the Fast and the Furious movies when it first came out, and so that's probably been maybe 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, I remember when the commercials when they first came out. Even the body style, they have a really nice looking body. It's like one of those body styles that's kind of timeless. It's never really going to go away. And I seen a video. I think it was Donut Media, like underrated cars that like people really don't talk about. And I think the FLA was one of them. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yamaha. They probably have a whole sound chamber, like the whole room, and
yeah,
I can only imagine the tuning that went into that thing. Yamaha also made the show motors.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool. Those, I suppose they can rev up to like $9,000.
What's the guy that's got the blue one? I think it's Blue Turd or something like that. It's called. He's got a turbo SHO that runs like 8s or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, it's an awesome build.
I seen one thing that someone just set some records with one. I think it was on 1320 where I saw it was the records. What YouTube channels do you watch, and what type of content do you prefer?
Content-wise, I watch fighting, MMA, and cars. That's about it. That's all there is at my family. That's all we know. If the fights ain't on, I'm watching car shows. That's about all I do. But as far as channels, they're taking a break off right now, but I love Sting Domination. I don't know if you've ever seen them. It's a group of guys. They do great work. They have great content. They did have one of them test COVID, so now they're kind of, they all have to stay away for a little bit. But I can't wait for them to get back, I think.
Are those the guys that have that, like, it's not like a tent or something they work in? Is that them?
Yeah, in their backyard, and they have like Fox bodies and SNs and New Edges, and those guys are good. They're really good, and they're funny. I enjoy watching them just for their banter and stuff. It's great content.
Yeah, that group of guys together. I recently found that channel lately, and man, they do a lot of stuff. Like they're really doing it. I mean, they're swapping and putting things together. They got
doing IRS rear ends and Fox bodies and stuff. Yeah,
I mean, they got it going on. They really do.
Yeah,
they are a funny group of guys. That is a good channel. When did you start your YouTube channel and why?
So I think it's been about 2 years ago, maybe 3. I'd already did modifications to the car, and I wasn't recording anything, but I ordered the DNA catback exhaust for the car, and I found one video, and that was it, and it was on a Cobra. So when I got it, I did an unboxing and install, and within a few days it had like over 100 views. So I just kind of started filming other things, drive-bys, and it all started with the DNA exhaust. So it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah. The one thing I found the first video that I ever got, they got over 20 views. I was kind of hooked. I was like, oh my God. And it's kind of like I don't know, almost like gambling. Like you're chasing that number.
Yep.
That number just keeps you going.
Like my channel's still small. I've only got like 700 subscribers, and but I remember being disappointed when a video would only get 20 views, and now I'm getting disappointed when it don't get 100 views. So
yeah,
it's nice.
I'm lucky to break 100 views.
I am too. I'll be honest, but when it does, it's like little kid at Christmas. Like yeah.
And like normally it takes about 2 weeks, and I'll get like 40 or 50 views. And when I do my tool videos, though, those really do well.
You know what my best video is?
What's that?
A Harbor Freight oil catch can. I made one from Harbor Freight. It has over 18,000 views right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go check that out, man. It seems like the helping and the learning, those are the best ones. Because I mean, that's why
that's why I'm trying to stay, you know, a budget channel. Not only because I'm poor, but you know, I feel like even if I had a bunch of money, there's so many more people that can relate to, you know, still getting it done right, but not spending an arm and a leg. I mean,
yeah.
For instance, I bought a BMW M3, but it was a 325 IS. It had an M3 engine and everything was already swapped. I just say M3. But all that was wrong with it is it had a valve cover gasket leak, and they wanted to charge him over $2,000 to replace it because it was a BMW.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I paid $1,700 for it, and for $30 and 15 minutes, the car was fixed.
And it's stuff like that people can learn from. I mean, a lot of things like camshaft swaps, those used to be kind of daunting, but now with enough YouTube videos, I just did my timing, and I was like, after I got done, it wasn't so bad. That first initial startup, I was scared.
The whole mindset of I can't do it really kills a lot of it. You know, you see it and you're like, I can't do that. Once you get into it and you don't have a choice but to do it, you'll be surprised what you can do.
Yeah, I mean, it takes actually diving into it.
Yep.
And the YouTube videos definitely can walk you through it. That's what I really like about it.
See, there goes my car right there.
What is that?
It's 550 Gen 3.
That's almost that's like a charcoal gray.
Yeah.
I love that car. I wish mine was that charcoal gray car.
Yeah.
What type of transmission, automatic or manual?
See, I can go either way on this. My Fox Body was a 5-speed. My wife learned to drive 5-speed on my. I had a Firebird. She learned to drive on that. So when we got the Fox Body, she was okay. The stipulation with buying this car is it had to be an automatic. She's had wrist injections and all this for carpal tunnel, and if she ever had to hop in it and take off, then that's what she wanted. So I got this because at the time it was her only car. And I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy the automatic around here. There are these red lights and you're stopping every couple of feet at some of these places. And so they both have their perks. Yeah, if you're getting out and having fun, a 5-speed is definitely more fun, but this is a J-modded 4R70W, and with the SET tuner, I've added 20% to the shift, so it kicks. It's a great transmission.
Yeah, I really like the 4R70. I got the SET and mine, and when it downshifts like a manual. And I remember I got a tune revision, and I'm like, when I got the tune, I'm like, it doesn't downshift like it used to, and he's like, oh, the pressures or whatever, and sent me another tune. So now, as I slow down, it downshifts like a manual. And I'm like, it's literally perfect. I mean, yeah.
I started out with mine, I did 10%. I'm like, oh, let's see what 20%. And I was at 20%. And I really like it, so that's where I'm staying at right now. So
yeah. So the manual is definitely better, especially when you get older. I mean, just sitting on the sit back, put your knee and eat at the same time driving. That's what I like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little more of a task for the manual. They are fun, like the Eclipse. That was fun driving.
Yeah, my Talon was an automatic, but it was built by IPT, Import Performance Transmissions, and they at the time, I mean, we're talking early 2000, but at the time they was running 9s with an automatic transmission in a Talon. Really? So yeah.
Did that one originally come with a manual? Because mine was a manual.
Most of them did, but mine was an automatic. And the way it worked out is I wasn't even looking for one. I just drove by a dealership, a little dealership in the town. I'm from the Gulf side of Florida. Yeah. And it was just sitting there, and something made me turn around. I went back, and he told me his guy at the bank. I went and talked to the guy at the bank. He said, it's yours, and the rest was history.
Now, getting into where you're from. What state are you from, and where have you lived the longest?
I'm a Florida boy. I've lived here 90% of my life. I lived in Tennessee for about a year or two, just kind of getting away from things. And Florida's my go-to. I don't care if I was a billionaire, I wouldn't leave Florida.
I tell my wife that all the time. I'm like, she's like, I want to move somewhere where it's snow and cold. And I'm actually from Indiana. I lived 4 years of my life in Indiana. I moved here when I was 6 months old to Port Orange. Left when I was 7, came back, and I'll never leave Florida. I'll never leave Volusia County. I love Volusia County. Can you describe the car scene in your area?
One word: disappointing.
It's kind of non-existent, I think. I don't know. I really don't know.
There is a group around here that's really good guys, and they don't allow people doing stupid stuff. But I've been to several meets, and I even got it in one of my videos where they're drifting in parking lots and just destruction of public property, and that gets things shut down. Yeah. And then the car scenes looked on negatively, and then the cops are watching us because they want to see where we're going to, what we're going to be destroying next. Because, all of it is, I'm not going to say all of it. 90% of it, I don't ever see old guys doing it. It's always these little kids with mom and dad bought cars.
Yeah,
and I know I sound like an old man with some resentment or something, but I mean, I've observed it with my own eyes. I mean, it's always young kids doing stupid stuff, thinking they're going to get Instagram famous or whatever and it's all ignorant.
Yeah, it really is. Kind of like Bel Air Plaza. That was the happening spot all of my life, and they literally took it away from us. I know, fucking so many cars today.
Dude, I'm telling you, this road is quiet. Like, I've sit here for like an hour before and hadn't had anybody come by.
Yeah, normally, like, when I come through here, I can just cruise right along and never see anybody.
There's actually a guy that lives right down here, though. He's got a Ferrari and an Audi R8, and he drives them quite frequently. So we might get to see one today.
That'd be a pretty cool sound clip to get going by,
yeah.
That's for sure. When you were younger, did you watch automotive channels on television?
Man, that was my Saturday and Sunday ritual. I would wake up, I ain't gonna lie, I was still a little kid, so I watched X-Men, but after X-Men, it was Horsepower TV, the Power Block, all that stuff. And, I just found out, if you have Amazon Prime, they have them shows still on TV, and I've been watching them.
Really? They're still on there? See, that's the one thing. We can only get satellite where I'm from, and literally never get to watch them. Plus, the wife, she likes to watch them when she wants to watch them.
Right. So if you sign up for Amazon Prime, you get free Prime Video. And you go there, and they got horsepower, they got engine builder, they got all that stuff. Trucks,
really?
Yeah.
I would say, from where I remember, about 7 years old, every weekend, that's all I watched.
Yep.
I mean, to this day, when we go to her mom's house and she has cable, sit down on the TV and I find it. If there was something that particularly annoyed you with the car scene, what is it?
I guess it goes back to the lack of respect. I guess it's called Jeep going to Bernie.
That was a nice Jeep.
Yeah, I like Gladiators.
I like that a lot.
But yeah, basically, the lack of respect. I mean, they go out and they ruin the scene, and it just kind of, it just ruins it for everybody.
Yeah. What suspension company do you prefer?
Right now I have just a bunch of mumbo jumbo on my car, but UPR or Viking, they seem to be the ones that have their crap together, and they're proven.
Yeah, there's a lot of videos with cars standing up in the air, and they got UPRK members on there.
Yeah, so I do have a UPRK member, but in the back I have modified SVE control arms. So I made them solid. So instead of the bushing, the stock bushings was synthetic, and they fell apart, and it gave them a terrible name. Everybody don't use them, they're crap. Well, LMR released a revised bushing. I wrote LMR, they sent me the bushings like the next day I got them. I was surprised. So I put them in, and they're solid rubber, but so is the factory ones, and they lasted 20-something years.
Yeah.
So I did one side rubber, and the other side I put a washer in where it was the exact size of the bolt and the exact size of the hole. So one side's solid, one side's not. I've launched this car, and mind you, it's not a high horsepower car, but I've abused them, and I hadn't had any issue out of them.
Really?
And then I'm on Steeda Springs. Nice. So
I was actually thinking about getting the SVEs, or I was even thinking about getting the eBay kit. Sometimes I wonder if some of these parts are exactly the same. I found this website called Black Panther Racing, and literally anything that UPR makes, like caster camber plates, solid spherical bushings,
Yeah.
it's the exact same thing without the engraving.
Right.
It's on eBay. Black Panther Racing, literally the same thing.
You know, and a lot of people don't realize that it's that way with motor oils. Like Warren Oils is like the biggest distributor. SuperTech and Shell motor oil is basically the same stuff. And people's like, oh, I wouldn't run SuperTech, but they'll grab some, you know, some Shell Rotella or something, and like you're buying the same stuff.
A lot of these manufacturers, SVE, eBay, I mean, a lot of it really does come from the same place.
Right.
I mean, they might have a slight tweak on their version.
Right.
But it's pretty much all the same.
And see, it would be beneficial to you, like, because you can weld. So what a lot of people was doing before that is where the bushing part mounted to the bar, they would weld a plate on top and bottom because they said they was cracking there.
Really?
Like I said, I beat the crap out of mine and it hadn't cracked, so.
Yeah, I would kind of like, I bought the BMRs and I wish the part that connected to the axle was spherical.
Yeah.
They're just that red polyurethane rubber or whatever it is. I've barely put 100 miles on the car in 2 years. But.
Yeah, the rear control arms on this car are actually off of Turdzilla. I don't know if you remember that build.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he took them off because the bushings was bad.
Really? And you just got new bushings, put them on there.
Yep.
I think with that Cobra swap I'm doing, I'm going to go cheap. I might swap everything nice over, but I think I'm going to go cheap and then slowly upgrade. I think that's the best way, really. I mean, it's all actually just the same thing.
Yeah.
With a name put on it.
It's I feel like I cover it every week on the internet, and I don't know why I feel the need to even say anything anymore because it's like I'm defending something, but I have the revised Dorman intake on my car. So it fits PI and non-PI ports without any leaks. If you look at it, it is basically a plastic version of the Edelbrock intake.
Yeah.
And people are talking about it's crap. Well, the reason they say it's crap is because the previous generation that mimicked it had the crossover runners.
Yeah.
It was crap.
Mm-hmm.
So they come out with a revised one, and everybody's still stuck on old Dorman's crap.
Yeah.
So that's you know, one of the things. And yeah, there is a horsepower number, but I've seen on a Crown Vic, he took his Dorman off because it was crap, the revised one, and put a PI on, and he gained 2 horsepower.
For the intake, I mean, a lot of people have actually put like 30 pounds through a factory intake.
Yeah.
And they hold up just fine. The runners in them give them a really nice power band.
Yeah.
I would like to have the Edelbrock, but then I hear like Andrew Lavender, the dude with the really fast 2-valve, he complains about his. Like, he's like, I don't like it at all.
Right.
What I really thought was cool, that P51 intake, they're like really, really rare, kind of big and bulky, probably heavy, but
yeah,
they kind of look like those 5.0 intakes.
Yep.
Those are pretty neat. But yeah, as for suspension, I mean, UPR I think is one of the better priced ones because you can buy an entire rear kit for like $360, something like that. I mean, you can do the whole rear end. Yeah, they're not bad. I really like that. I got mixed match on mine right now, and it kind of drives me crazy. Can you tell me what platform do you think is a good starting point for building a drag car?
For a drag car, man, I don't think it's any secret. You go to any racetrack, Fox bodies, man, they're everywhere.
Those things are tearing up everything.
That's the reason the price is so high, though. I mean, it's, you know, like they called it a drift tax when drifting came over here. You couldn't get a 240 SX for under $5 grand.
No,
and
I actually sold one for $400.
Everybody's getting these Fox bodies for drag racing, and yeah, I mean, I just found a 4-cylinder car the other day. They wanted $5 grand for a 4-cylinder Fox body, yeah.
Good,
because the body was good, yeah.
The good thing about the SN95s and new edges, it is a Fox body.
Right.
Literally, the only difference is some hole sizes on the suspension.
Right.
And you can drill those out.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like which spindles or blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it doesn't really matter. Even the shock lengths are all the same. I mean, it is really a great car.
My rear end's out of a new edge, and one of the bolts was bigger, but and it's also like ½ an inch wider on each side.
Really?
Yeah.
When I got my rear control arms from BMR, they sent me SN95 bushings. The bushing's the same, but the brass insert was a different size. they sent me out a new brass insert. I was gonna drill the brass insert, like no big deal, but they sent them out to me. And yeah, literally, like it was just a, I don't know how much bigger, but not like 1 or 2 millimeters.
Yeah, the new edges is a little bit bigger.
How often do you think about building your car, and how much research do you do on a weekly basis thinking about it?
I normally don't go to bed till 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm on forums, I'm on everything, man. I just, even stuff I know, I reread. I want it implanted in here, you know. I always tell my kids, knowledge is one thing people can't take away from you. Invest in your knowledge, and you know, they can degrade you and cut you down, but they can't take your knowledge away, man.
Yeah.
That's just the thing. So yeah, I'm always doing research. My wife says I have a modification problem. She thought I had a car problem until I bought a gun and started modifying it, and she's like, yeah. Bought a laptop, started modifying it. She's like, no, you just got a modification problem.
That's a good thing for it.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was into BMX bikes, and my mom would buy me a $1,000 BMX bike, and I would strip it down and change all the parts on it.
Yeah.
And I've been that way. I guess that is a real. I never heard it called that, but that's really what it is.
Well, see, I don't call it a problem because it's only a problem for her. So.
Yeah. It's a passion. That's what it is.
Right.
It's really a passion. My wife, she's like, take the phone out of your hand. I'm like, I got to do research. And she's like, you're always researching. I think it's an obsession, really.
Yeah.
I literally think.
Like I said, if I had the money, I'd be doing my own research right now, like micing stuff and figuring stuff out. And,
yeah.
You know, that's just stuff like that interests me, and I know a lot of people that don't because it's old stuff. But I mean, I've always been interested by stuff like that.
Yeah. I'd like to get a hold of some Mustang cams. I can get a hold of some truck cams, and we can mic them.
Yeah.
And see. I mean,
I got
to make sure it's because so many of these motors have been swapped, and I would like to do some stuff like that.
Well, see, I got Mustang cams at the house, and I mic'd them because I'm going to be putting them in here. If I take the valve cover off and it don't have PI cams, which I was told it does, but
yeah.
But a guy sent me a set of Mustang cams. I mic'd them, and with a 1:8 ratio, it comes out to a 527 lift.
Really?
So,
you know, Fords kind of do have a high lift from the factory.
Yeah.
Compared to like a Chevy lift or anything like that. How do you tell? Is there a part number on them?
Yep.
There is?
Yep. There will be a number up front, but that's just like for the factory. That it's actually engraved between 2 of the lobes.
Yeah.
So.
Is yours a Windsor motor or a Roma?
Roma.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. So it should have the bolted cams instead of the press fit.
Right. And the cams he sent me was from a 2002, and it's got the bolt-in. So I have the Anderson cam tool kit that holds it. So
if you need to do anything, I do have the full Matco timing master timing kit.
Oh yeah.
If you need to borrow it, I one day I bought it on eBay. I paid like $280. It's like $1,000 master timing kit for the 4.6 and 5.4.
Yeah.
And the dude's like, it cost me more to ship this heavy beast than you paid for it.
I believe it.
I was like, damn. It was a really nice find. The only thing I didn't like is it only came with one cam holder, like where you hold the cam in place so it can't turn.
Right.
It only came with one, and I thought that was kind of weird because when you do timing, you have to hold 2 of them.
Yeah. I've seen people take a bolt and grind one side down where it fits the piece on the back side when they have the engine out, and actually put the bolt in and then use a wrench to hold it.
Really?
Put a bolt through the wrench and hold it.
I did the unperceivable. I put a vice grip on the cam.
Oh yeah?
And held it that way.
I mean, if it's between the lobes, it don't matter anyway, because it don't ride on
That's
that
what
part.
I thought. I was like,
yeah.
Oh well, you know, I put the vice grip on it and it's all good. All right, to finish this off, last question. This is for all our fellow YouTubers. If you had something to say for people trying to start a YouTube channel, what words of wisdom would you give them?
Starting out, man, don't take anything serious. Just do it for fun. I understand there'll be a time where you want to make money and like you're fixing to break 1,000 subs. So
probably in another year, but yeah.
I mean, it'll be faster than you think.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things that just don't take it too serious. And you know, people's gonna hate. Just do what you do for fun. Your subscribers are gonna come, and when them subscribers come, they're there to stay. They're not there to just because somebody told them, hey, subscribe to them. you know you're doing your thing and they're still subscribing. They're a loyal subscriber base. They're not just, you know, somebody that's there to mess around.
Yeah,
So.
that's what I have found. Like the ones that do come around, like you and that Canada guy that I always talk to, stuck around. Like that's, you know what I mean, like true subscribers, not
Right.
just at a whim and kind of like that. But all these new channels I've found because of you, I really do like that, and those guys are really good.
Yeah.
All right, this is going to conclude that. Patrick, thank you for doing this.
Yes, sir.
And we will talk soon.
Yes, sir.